Now, this is an issue, isn't it? It's a real new world problem, Professor.
It is global, Tim. It's not just the United States. As you know, many of these companies are affected by it all over the world, and they affect other countries' economies. That's why President Biden's going to be talking to Chancellor Merkel about coordinating the efforts against these Russia-based private hackers. These are not the Russian government necessarily. It's actually private hackers, but they're doing it from Russian territory, and the Russian government should take action along with other governments of the world. If it means taking actual cyber action against the ransomware perpetrators, it needs to be done, but mainly there has to be a response, and it needs to be serious from all different countries that are involved. That's what I would suggest.
Oh, absolutely. Needs to be clamped down, and clamped down hard. Now, Afghanistan, a couple of decades on, it doesn't seem to be any better place, to be honest, after all the involvement with the US, us, everybody.
It's a big tragedy, but it's something that would have been expected because there's been no other country that could be in Afghanistan and be able to rule that country or even support a puppet government. The Soviet Union tried it. The British tried it before them. They were driven out. The Soviets were driven out. The US now has to leave. And the thing is, the Afghan government had 20 years to get it together and to fight corruption within its own midst, which could have actually helped them build a really positive infrastructure, build a positive society that would have been based on democracy and democratic values. And the US should have been more involved with that in terms of economic aid and seeing that that was done, that corruption had to be fought. Right now, 20 years is way too much already. And President Biden, as he pointed out, every year is an extra year that's not needed and more people die. And this has to be done and taken care of with the Afghan people themselves. And I think the US should be available to support economically from the outside, but not have troops there fighting. And I don't think that's a very good thing. I think Biden's probably making the right decision. At least most Americans feel that. The majority do support this particular action of Biden's.
Well, Australia's biggest city, Sydney, is in the middle of a lockdown, but our vaccination rate has finally started to kick. We had 1 million done in the last week, and we're hopefully catching ground. But the US, the vaccination program has been superb. And I was reading a Yale essay the other day that said that 279 million plus deaths were avoided because of the vaccination and 1.1 million hospitalisations. Obviously, there are cases at the moment, but most of those are with people that are not vaccinated.
Absolutely correct. And congratulations on Australia finally taking off with the vaccination rate and getting much better there. But we were way ahead of you guys to begin with, because the thing is, so many people who died, I think about 99.5% of the COVID deaths recently have been those who are unvaccinated. That's a number that should wake everyone up, that it's absolutely important to get these vaccines into people's arms. Only 48%, 49% of the American population is fully vaccinated. So we have a ways to go as well. As you know, herd immunity is not achieved until we reach at least minimum 70% vaccination rate, fully vaccinated, up to 85%, and that has to be moved forward. You've got a problem here. 49% of Republicans refuse to be vaccinated. 95% of Democrats actually are vaccinated or will be getting vaccinated. There's a partisan divide, unfortunately, and it should not be a partisan issue. This is an issue of health, and President Biden has to push it that way and see that it's done, because if we don't get the vaccinations in the United States and throughout the world, we're going to have these variants rise all over the place and come back to bite us and to haunt us here and all over the world, including Australia. So it has to be a global effort, and just has to start right in the United States, which we have control over, actually.